Welcome to the Eonics Podcast, a podcast about software engineering, new ways of working, and lots of other interesting stuff. Today I have a returning guest, Amir. Welcome.
Hi, Marcus.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, and I'm very happy that to be here again.
What was the previous topic we talked about? I don't really remember.
I think we had two.
Oh, two even?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. One was about, I think, domain-driven design.
Domain-driven design, yeah, of course. That's always an interesting topic. And I asked you again because you're always a very deep, knowledgeable Java guy.
Oh, really?
And we have that's what I think anyway. And we have a lot of listeners who are interested in that topic. And you told me I have some interesting new framework. Should I call it that you've been trying out?
In my new assignment, we are using this framework.
And then what is it called?
Axon Framework.
And how do I spell it?
AXON.
AXON, the Axon Framework. Is it an open source framework? Is it proprietary?
Yes, it is. It has also some paid versions, but it's an open source.
So maybe to start with it, what is it? What is it for? What does it do? Can you introduce us into the Axon Framework?
Yes, of course. Like you said, we are going to talk about this Axon Framework, and it's a framework that help us to build complex systems, let's say. And Axon Framework is all about event-driven architecture, and also event sourcing. Today we'll talk more about these two terms.
So event-driven architecture and event-driven sourcing.
Event sourcing.
Event sourcing.
Yes.
So what is event sourcing?
We will come to that.
Okay.
And basically, Axon Framework helps developers to build systems using CQRS. We'll go to this. CQRS stands for Command and Queries Responsibility Segregation.
Okay.
Using this Axon Framework, you can implement CQRS easily, and it helps a lot for building complex systems.
So maybe before we go deeper into the framework, let's take a little step back. So you use it at your new assignment, but what you say complex applications? What is the why do you need this framework in your assignment specifically?
That's actually a very good question and very good bridge to our next topic. Let's say, I keep using Dutch words because in my new assignment I use Dutch, and it's like a bit challenging for me to completely switch back to English. But like Dutch says, gaat goed komen.
Gaat goed komen.
Yeah. A step back to your question, what kind of problems we are trying to solve in this using this framework? I need to go back to traditional applications or systems, let's say. In old systems, I try to avoid technical terms, so I try to keep it as simple as possible. But in old systems, traditionally we build CRUD endpoints, and CRUD, CRUD, and with CRUD stands for create, read, update, delete.
Right.
And then traditionally it's like you build some controllers or endpoints, and then you expose to the rest of the world what you want to expose. Basically. Right. And this is perfect. So for the first iterations of your application, it's perfect. I'm going to continue with an example. Imagine a online web shop. Right. So you are going to provide some products to your customers, basically, and you have this CRUD. So you can create one a product. You can update products. So like for example, a title of a product is changed. You can delete a product and. You can read products, so users should be able to.
You can create a shopping cart that has a product, etc.
Something like that. But this is lovely. This is perfectly fine. But in reality, not any application or any problems, let's say, it stays that simple.
Right.
Then the moment that it gets complex, then it's not a good idea to continue using CRUD operations.
Okay.
And there is a term, your CRUD endpoints get fat.
Okay.
So imagine in our example, perfectly fine. We were living in a simple world: create, update, delete, and read products, orders, and these kind of things. But what if a payment failed? What if a user cancels an order?
Right.
And this kind of scenarios is not easy to implement using traditional CRUD.
What if you get all kinds of variations of products that you can modify or...
Exactly. And then sometimes you want to have discounts like Friday, and then the prices are conditional and these kind of things. It's not an easy thing to implement using CRUDs. That's why we need to think about this, implement this design differently.
So this is about kind of the architecture of the model of the application.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we said architecture.
Yeah.
Event-driven architecture.
Okay. Yeah.
And coming back to your question here, instead of resources like that we are going to create, update, delete, and read, we are talking about commands, queries, and events.
Those are the data types, let's say.
We model our application using these elements.
Commands,
queries, and events.
Events, okay.
And so in our next subtopic, let's say, we'll talk about what are these three elements: commands, queries, and events.
Okay.
But before going to that, I would like to talk about event sourcing.
Okay.
You already also
I've never heard of it. So
event sourcing. Because it's I am going to read the event sourcing definition from the paper, because it needs to be precise. So event sourcing means instead of storing only the current state in a database, we store all the events that led to that state.
I see. Yeah. So instead of having a static kind of truth without history, you have all the events that led up to this specific truth, so you can kind of go back and know what happened to get to this state, basically.
Exactly. This conversation is going good. Actually, you had some technical background, right?
Yeah, I have technical background. I studied computer science, so quite some technical background, but it's a very long time ago.
But it's you're following this topic very good. Actually, you're asking the questions that I was going to talk about.
Right.
It's going good.
Okay, and so these events form the basis for the application. So basically, in this type of design.
Yes, exactly. And here I'm going to continue with two examples.
Okay.
Imagine here we are sitting next to a table, a desk.
Yeah.
So the current state of this desk is this table is on the ground and here, exactly here.
Right.
This is the state of this table. But imagine somebody says, move the table to the right.
Right.
And then this is a command: move the table to the right. And then I will move the table to the right.
That's an event.
The table is moved.
Okay.
Usually we use past tense when it comes to events, something that happens.
Right.
So this table is moved to the right.
To the right.
And then now the table has a new state.
Right.
And then this can happens more and more, right? To the left, to the right. And then we have a list of events, a list of commands, and a list of corresponding events.
Right.
And in this new way of designing systems, we don't only store the last state of the table. So we have a list of commands and events.
Right.
And one more thing to know about this, we can always replay all the events.
Right.
So imagine something goes wrong, but we always have all the commands.
Right.
And we can start from the new and put the table from the on the beginning
and
then
follow the events.
Yes, this is called projection.
Projection.
So, yes, and that's why we can build all kind of views using the projection.
Right. So it's almost like you have inherently in the architecture you kind of log everything that happens, sort of, and that's becomes an integral part of the application.
Exactly, and you use the word inherently, and this is a good bridge to my second example. Let's say, imagine a scientist. They always use fossils to study about the history.
Right.
And imagine a scientist found a stone or a fossil, and this is the last state of the fossil. And it's very difficult to find out what has happened in the millions years ago.
Sure.
But if the scientist has all the events within the million years, so this would be much more easier.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But this is an example that I saw in one conference. They used this example, and then it would be an amazing world for scientists to have all this kind of events.
Yes.
But now we have only one stone and some carbons and this kind of things, and we have to figure out what has been done here. So
to prevent your application from becoming a fossil,
yes, exactly.
you need to use event-driven framework. So going a bit more high level, so Axon is this kind of event-driven and event sourcing framework for Java.
Yes, exactly.
But so what specifically is the sourcing part?
So this replaying.
Oh, that's the replaying part.
The events are the source of everything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see. So basically, it's saying in this kind of framework, the source of truth is all your events and everything that happened. So, what could you give a concrete example, like the web shop example, but then maybe a different one where there's this complexity, where this kind of architecture really helps, maybe even from some small thing that you've used in practice?
Yeah, I can use one example in my current assignment.
Yeah.
So imagine a framedeling in
immigrant.
Right. Imagine an immigrant
in a country.
It comes to Netherlands in this example.
Right.
And then there is a long process. So first he or she needs to submit an application, and then this application someone adds something, comments, and then this goes back, and then comes again, and all these events. These are all events that happens to this application,
right? And
then this application ends up in letting someone in or rejecting other decisions. So you can imagine these are all events that could happen to an application of a
and here you could always, it's a good example where you could see like the CRUD approach would be way too simple. And wouldn't really fit the domain.
You will end up like again fat CRUDs application.
Yeah, exactly. Make it very complicated to support everything.
And then imagine the rules and regulations from the government is changed, and then you have to change all these CRUD APIs. Right. So you have to add something, remove something, and backward compatibility, all these issues.
So that's also where it can help. Exactly. If your business logic, let's call it that, changes, that's also easier to fit into this kind of architecture.
Exactly. And one more example in this, one more use case in this example. So imagine for one government requirement, you need to build another view of all this information. But in the old design system, you have one SQL database that you need to join this massive table to build this view, let's say. But in this design, in this architecture, you have all the events. Right?
So you can always decide to...
you can create a new view and replay all the events and then collect the information that you are interested in this new view.
Right. So it's almost like, to me, it feels like the way you explain it, it almost sounds like the data is stored basically in a more natural way, matching to what's happening in the real world, which is just events happening.
Exactly.
Instead of trying to model it in all these objects and relationships and all this kind of stuff. So then later you can just say like, oh, but now we want to look at all these events in a different way. Let us just create a different model and then replay these events in this model, and then we get all the data we need.
Exactly.
I can see why this would be very useful. But doesn't this mean that doesn't this mean that you have to store a lot of data?
That's also one of consideration in this architecture, but I don't have much experience, and what I'm saying is based on, I think, 2-3 years of experience working with.
That's already quite some.
With this system, storing data is not a challenge.
An issue.
No.
Okay, and so maybe go a little bit into the practice, like if you're actually going to do this, if you're going to use this kind of framework, like how does that work? How, as a programmer, as a developer, as an engineer, how do you, what are the concepts? How do you approach it? Can you say something about this?
This was my last subtopic to talk about, but for now I can say that developers for sure needs a different mindset, and there is a learning curve there to learn how to model your application in this following these principles,
right?
Let's say, and even now we from time to time we have some workshop from the providers of Axon Framework. So they come and they try to guide us about the best practices.
Right. And in so it sounds like the most work is changing your mindset and changing the design of the application.
And changing the design of application is a biggest step, let's say.
Yeah,
because if you have a working application,
exactly, that was my question.
That would be
very
costly
complex to change it.
Yes, but one of the things that I wanted to say is very good if you want to start a new application.
Right?
But there are also some topics to how to migrate existing application to an event sourcing application, but they are not straightforward.
Okay, and do you like it? You've been working with it now for some time.
Yes, I like it. Yes.
Yeah, and what is the biggest advantage?
I have a list of advantage here, but you have full audit trail. You can audit everything, what has happened. Right. And if something goes wrong, like I said, you can fix the logic and then replay everything from scratch. Right. And one more thing, off topic, but you may say, okay, what if there are millions of events, and then every time I have to replay all of them or project all of them together? But you can also create a snapshot, like 10 days before everything, the snapshot is here, and then we start to apply from the snapshot.
You can create like states where there's kind of a truth in a certain time, and then you don't need to replay all the events before.
Like we can say we are not interested anymore about 2 years ago, so we can create a snapshot, but there are always complexities.
Right.
this is always the case, right? For every new technology.
Exactly. That was actually my next question. Now we only have said, I think, more or less the positive things, like nice things, or we also talked a little bit about some challenges, but maybe what are the challenges or what are the limitations, or can you say something about this?
Yes, I can say so. The first challenge is that we need a new mindset,
right?
Different from CRUD applications.
Yeah, so it's the learning curve for the engineers and for the architects and stuff.
Yes, and like you said, we only talked about the positive and good world things, but what if an event changes? Like the event was move the table to the right, but now they are saying move the table 2 steps to the right.
Yeah, so somebody is coming and saying the event that was recorded was somehow the wrong event, or it was not accurate, or
not mature enough. Now where we want to move 2 steps, there they have some versioning schema for events.
Okay,
but you need to learn how to evaluate your events, basically.
Right. Oh, so this is about, it's not about the input changing, but it's like the design of the event itself changing over time.
Yes.
First you said I had events A, B, and C, but now I also have in the same type event D, and it needs to be added or something.
Exactly.
Right. I see how that could get complicated.
Yes. And you indeed need a different mindset to be able to evaluate your events during the time.
Right. So I didn't think about that, but so you also have to design the events themselves.
You need to study your problem and then identify your events. What are the right?
So in that way, it's going back to the also classic complexities of any type of software engineering, because you're trying to model reality, and sometimes reality changes. Or was a bit more complicated than you thought. So you still have this problem also in this architecture, but just in a different way, let's say.
In different way, but the moment that you get to it, then it would be much more easier for everyone in the system, the developers, designers. So even the designers or the product owners, they can make their own views, because everything is available.
It's available. Yeah. So you still see you still feel that it's a better way to model a complex domain,
I would say,
compared to the CRUD architecture. Yeah. And so you're using it, and you've played with it a lot, but you've also been learning about it. Do you have a sense of are there many places where they're using it already, or is it still very new? Or
yes, there is a list of domains, let's say, that they use it. Mm-hmm. So fintechs, logistics, insurances, they deal always with the events, right?
Right. So it's a natural fit.
Yes, and government systems, I said.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is the Axon Framework, is it like the most, how do I say, a bit of the standard in the Java world, or are there many different ones? Or
that's a big question to answer, but it's one of the well-known
ones.
well-known event sourcing frameworks.
But there are other ones as well that you could use.
I have to check to answer, but
no, that's okay.
There are for sure, but I don't know how big are they.
Yeah, how big and how stable and everything. And this one is well developed, but also supported. It sounds like, because you get support from people, you get workshops and everything.
I've been in the presentation from the people from Axon in the conferences.
Right, so they're really working on it. There's being updated.
It's a live framework.
Yeah, exactly. And is there something you wanted to talk about? I've asked lots of questions, but is there still something you wanted to explain? Maybe some interesting bit.
Yes, one last subtopic. Let's say what Axon do for event sourcing.
Okay.
So
yeah.
This is a bit more technical.
Sure.
I would like to refer to my experience with event-driven systems 4 years ago.
Okay.
Before joining Eonics, I used to work for Travix.
Okay.
And there we used to use event-driven system.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, we didn't want, or there, I don't know or we didn't know about Axon Framework. So we had to build all this infrastructure or all these bases, events, commands, these kind of things ourselves.
I see what you mean.
Yes, from scratch.
You kind of implemented
and
a similar framework from scratch.
From scratch,
right.
Inside the company. But of course, it was not our expert
right.
to build such a framework, but we need it and we built it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come now I'm working in another assignment, and now we are using Axon Framework. And I can say that there are things that Axon gives you out of the box. Like there's a concept of aggregate in the definition of domain-driven design. So Axon gives you the whole strong aggregate lifecycle.
Okay.
Out of the box. You don't need to write a code. Axon gives you commands, gateways, and also event handlers. So you can just create an event handler or event sourcing handler with a few lines of code.
Right.
And this is not something that we had 4 years ago, and it's very useful.
Right. So basically what you're saying is it gives a lot of the stuff that you really need if you want to work in this kind of way is included in the framework, and it works very well.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So let's say hypothetically in some time, maybe at some point you're going to go to a new assignment. You're going to talk to your new team. There's a new application that you guys need to build. Would you be an advocate for this type of design?
Yeah, I would do so.
Yeah.
Because I have seen that traditional applications with CRUD and architecture, let's say, when the domain becomes complex, it doesn't going to be a good situation.
And let's also the opposite question, like what would be a situation where you wouldn't use it?
That's a very good one. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. If I see that a domain problem can be solved using CRUD design, and nobody knows actually, but you can predict something that this is not going to be super complex.
Yeah,
I would stay with traditional.
Okay, so maybe let's say the scope is very limited of the application, or
the scope is simple, and it's not going to increase.
Yeah, and that's where the government application is not a good example. You know that it will always get complex, and the scope will always get bigger.
And you need dynamic views always.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, very interesting. So is there anything you want to add? I think we're kind of coming to an end, but if there's more to share, you feel free to add something. I think we've covered quite a lot.
Yes, actually, I have a list of, coming back to your last question, I have a list of real world use cases. And Axon shines when you need auditability.
Because you have all the events.
Of course, when the domain is complex.
Yeah.
And when you are moving to microservices, imagine that you have an old monolithic system and you're moving to microservices. When you expect a high rate of changes or long lifecycle aggregates.
Right.
So this is another example. that Axon will help you.
Right,
The last one we already talked that you want to be very dynamic about your views of the data.
Right.
So today we want order and the date. Tomorrow we want order, date, and the price. And 3 months later we want order, a view of order, date, and the name and the address, and the delivery time.
Right.
This kind of dynamic views.
Yeah. So I can really see how it's useful, and I'd never heard of it before. So I hope it's also been useful to our listeners.
I hope so.
If listeners have any questions, you can always send it to us, and maybe we can discuss it in the future. It's podcast@eonics.nl. I want to thank you very much, Amir.
Thanks. Thank you.
And no problem. And I wish you all the best on the assignment. And maybe in the future we can talk more about this, or maybe a new topic that you dive into.
Of course.
Okay, thank you, Amir.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Wait.